So this has been a very difficult video to make. Obviously, a book of 900 pages. Um, this is difficult. It is very challenging. There's stuff I want to say about the game, obviously, but it's difficult not to try to go through a lot of the technical aspects of how the rules and the differences that this game has compared to DCC and all the things it has to offer. So I'm going to kind of change gears here so that it doesn't become some huge video that most people just stop watching after a while. So, obviously this has been a huge labor of love for David, and a lot of people have worked on it. And it's been an educational scenario for everybody involved, especially that's close to Dave, to know just what has gone on behind the scenes. And there's stuff that, I'll probably never know all the work that's gone into it or having any type of real understanding of it. But one thing I can say about it is that and I said this a little bit in the other video, now that I'm looking through it, I've been trying to make this video for about 2 hours now. And they just got too long, too technical, too boring. And so, what happens when I make these videos, in case you don't understand, I don't make any edits to them. It's all one take. If I mess up or don't feel good about the take, I start over. So that's on me, okay? And it's just difficult to get that exact perfect slice of what this game's about, or what went into it, or how it plays, or what you'll be able to do with it, what type of adventures you'll be able to go on with it, or who's it for, where you can find it, where you can buy it. I've got to get all those things laid down. And so I said, what I'll do, finally, what happens a lot of times is I get angry that I'm not able to do the video the way I'd like for it to be. And so I know what I've done wrong, and I continue to make errors, and I say that's not the way to go about it. And lots of times, I think most of the times in my videos, it makes for better videos. The more I fail, the more I try to do something a little different, and hopefully it makes it better. So with that being said, I'm not going to break down everything that's in this game when it comes to the rules. Yes, there's a whole bunch of different character classes. They're all touched by the supernatural. They all have cool abilities. You can watch my my bootleg edition of the Dark Trails version of the game. Now, Dark Trails is what it used to be called. It's now called Weird Frontiers. And you can read about that. You go and Google it, you'll find out why. But that's the name of it. And I enjoy it now. I like Dark Trails, but I really enjoy Weird Frontiers. It seems to have a much larger span of imagination to it. So, my other videos, I was breaking down all these different character classes and showing you lots of art, and that's all well and good. But, you're going to have, I have to say some of it. You're going to have all sorts of different rules for guns. I mean, guns they're a difficult part of role-playing games, especially when you have multiple guns that can shoot more than once. I mean, it just really bogs down. What hand are you using the gun in? Does that give you any negatives or bonuses? And now you're dealing with a historic version of guns that have different types of calibers and different types like ball, cap and ball, double action, single action. And David, a lot of this book was give them more and try not to leave them wanting. I think that is really the why that this book is 900 pages and why it's been so difficult for me to make this video. So David did a great thing, I think. Of course, it helped me out to help get my name into a book such as this, and to help me explore my imagination and to get some writing credits. But he reached out to all of us contributing writers. And of course, yes, I'm a good buddy of David's, and so I very much appreciate him giving me this opportunity. But as I've alluded to in the other video, so much of this book is just pure imagination. Unbridled, really. The Mercurial Magic Table, I wrote about half of this. And this is a good example of just being able to create something. And these are not easy to make. You would think, oh, I'll just create a bunch of things. Well, when you get to about 15, you have to really start delving into your mind about something creative and new and different. Now, granted, occasionally you can kind of fall back on some stuff that are obviously, you're going to have that, or you're going to have this. But it starts to really bog you down after a while, and your imagination kind of, it's like someone just, pulled the feet right underneath your brain. But it pushed us to be more creative. And honestly, I don't think I'll ever be in any other type of book with this type of creativity unless I made something myself. But the nature of DCC and the nature of Weird Frontiers, allowing for these things to be so kind of random, different, the word's thrown around a lot, gonzo, it is a ton of work, but it's a lot of imagination. And you'll hear me say that a bunch. Yeah, I'm a broken record. But it's really the aspect of what this game was about. All these different, this whole section here is nothing but the arcane section. I don't know. Arcane spells, whatever you want to call them, their contraptions, their formula, all of these. I mean, this is page, let's take a look. Let's do it. This is page 178, right? And it goes all the way up to 532, right there. This is all pure, just people being allowed to just create incredible spells, magic effects, formulas, contraptions, and not only coming up with the idea for them, but then breaking them down into different roles. And you'll see how they do different effects based off your role. So it's like, not only do I have to come up with something that's kind of neat, and David was very lenient with us. He might give us some suggestions about what some things would be, if there was a list. But if you wanted to create something, you could create something. So, I wasn't tethered down at all by imagination. And we just went with it. And you can tell that all of us did it. So it's like, you put a bunch of kind of crazy abstract painters together, and you're going to get some really, collection of really wild art. And that's what this game is. It's just a collection of imagination that's just been set free. And I think it's fantastic. So there's a section here on judges' rules, a lot of stuff that David didn't have to put in this game, but he did. Telling you about different towns and the laws and the buildings and things that you can do, and you can generate your own NPC. There's a sample town that you can use for your adventures. Here's some random, generated type of NPCs, that are created. There's adventure hooks. So tons of stuff. And then it was just like, it just kept on, we needed more. We need to cover this aspect of the game and this aspect. So here's World Outside of Worlds, talking about the spirit world and crossing that veil, talking about the near, the far, and how those all work within the game's kind of lore, especially with the character classes that work with them. And then it goes into the Dark Patrons. I was given the ability to create one myself, Vogtholb. I don't know if anybody else created one of the other ones. Shub-Niggurath is one, and Nyarlathotep is one, and of course nobody created those except Lovecraft or whoever it was that originally wrote about them. But I was given a great thing, a gift to be able to create my own patron, and it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. And I see Vogtholb as being a huge underground slug, slime, snail thing that is imprisoned under the salt flats of Utah. And just being able to do that was so great. And the map that Jared Blanda did, put it on there, just kind of gave it life. So the map is very, very much a example of the kind of just, here's places, here's things, and look at this strange symbol, or look at this little piece of art here that shows a monster or some sort of strange gates or doors. Have at it. Let your imagination, run free. And that's what a lot we were able to do. And I think the game inspires you to do that as well. So there's the patrons section there. And then it's a great section here on Weird Frontiers to MCC, DCC to Weird Frontiers. This piece of art is incredible. I absolutely love these Weird Frontiers characters coming through this portal and fighting alongside the character classes of DCC. absolutely awesome. One of my favorite pieces in the whole game. Carousing table, experience points, how to deal with luck. Magic items were so great. There's gun magic, creating all sorts of, think of lists and tables for making magical swords where you can make your own magic firearms. You can roll on these things and create something quite unique type of guns. A lot of fun, a lot of great stuff. And then this section here is all unique magic items. And of course, I'm going to talk about this because I created all of these. And if you like them or don't like them, let me know. I apologize if you don't like them, but I gave it my best shot. And I was able to, I had no list of what an item would be. I just said, I'm gonna create stuff that's from that era, and I'm gonna give it a history. Now, some of the histories are unique, so that's kind of like maybe a one-off item. And then some of them, there's multiple ones in the world, because I wanted a mixture of both. So I created the names, I created the history, like I said, the effects, everything that you see in this section I wrote. I'm very proud of it, and I hope that people that get the game will be able to use some of these magical items to a great effect and great fun in their game. The black gun is one of my favorites. The fishing creel is one of my favorites. The 4 cubes are awesome, I think. I wanted magical, very strong, powerful artifacts that could affect the minds and the power of a huge area of land. These could be focal points for very strong adventures with a lot of powerful politicians and movers and shakers in the Weird Frontiers to control these cubes. And then the Bestiary. I mean, gosh, the Bestiary was so fun to make. You do 2 things. Either you just say, okay, I'm going to grab a creature from folklore, or, which is of course great fun, I'm going to create something completely different, so you got that. Or third, I'm going to go and research and educate myself on different cultures' folklore and their myths. And I'm going to create that character for Weird Frontiers. So it was a mixture of like unbridled imagination and education. And I had so much fun doing it. I created these guys. I created this 2-headed snake. Again, I created Blade Runner. This one, of course, it's a funny name. I had to throw Blade Runner in there. It's pretty much a road runner that impels you with its, it runs very fast and impels you and sucks the blood out of your legs. There's a whole bunch of different type of plants that are trying to murder you. I didn't create any of those. There is, the Chupacabra. Everybody likes that one. That's a standard. Love this picture of crawling claws. Cyclops, I wanted to make. They said, okay, I've got the Cyclops. Obviously, Greek ancestry, kind of the folklore and mystery of that. And I wanted it not just to be a big ogre type creature that just smashes you, but I wanted to just write a couple things in there that say that, these guys are worshipped. They are given gifts, and they might have power, influence over an area. That way you could use them for more than just a big, creature that wants to beat the hell out of you. Something that, maybe is terrorizing an area, a city. Maybe these guys here are getting stuff from a town, and you're going to try to help the town by stopping them, but come to find out they're all giving it to this Cyclops. So, I wanted something that's it's got more depth to it. Dead folks are going to be like your undead. And again, the Kickstarter really fluffed this thing up with a lot of other monsters. I created a Death Grip Vulture, pretty much a vulture that goes inside your dead body and controls you. There's a whole section here on fairies, so obviously delving into that type of culture. A lot of staples of kind of Lovecraft and the mythos. Flesh Communion I created. I just wanted a huge ball of flesh of different bodies that just rolls around and crushes you and kills you, and adds your flesh maybe to the big communion of bodies. Flying Polyp, that one. Mythos Ghouls. Again, a lot of great well-known mythos creatures. Glass Web Spider I created. Here's the Golem. Different type of traits. Great race of Yith. Grave Wraith, of course, is a great picture here. Terrible undead. Got these souls of these poor babies. Gug, well known. The Halferman I created. I wanted something that was just absolutely sinister. Something you could create a complete adventure about. A serial killer, in essence, that lives in a field and beckons little children forward with little handmade, maybe wheat dolls for them to come close, and then he peels the skin from them. He controls the field. He's a terror. He's something that you invoke on your children when they're bad, that the Halferman's going to get you. So it was so fun to make that guy. I made both these two as well. Again, different type of cultures. with their type of monsters and myth. And these are going to try to murder you, of course. The Lost Servitors of Nyalotha, I created them, and I wanted something that was truly like that cosmic creature that's come to Earth that people worship, and it doesn't really have a great form to it. It's a strange, black, sinewy, bleeding form. And they're lost. They're looking for their deity, their elder god that they were servitors for. Malformed, I wanted kind of like a grunt creature that would just kind of, mash you into the ground, that could be a lot of, and have a lot of different changes and differences with their bodies. That's how the Malformed were created. Here's Amigo, of course, the fungi from Yugoth, and of course, that's a staple. You gotta have that. Mothman, I created well-known kind of a creature from American folklore. Very fun to create that. I love this picture of the mummy. It's very active, but it's great. It's got your luchador, it's got your bedlamite there trying to fight this mummy off. Created this one, created the Night Curse Coyote. I wanted to have creatures that were corrupted by being in the kind of the bonfire light of like a cultist ritual, and how that would alter and change them, as well as them being able to kind of join their bodies together to form a even stronger, terrible monster coyote. Let's see what else. Night Gaunt, of course, another staple. The Rakshasa. This one I created, and of course, well known to me from D&D. But they've got some cool different forms like jackrabbit and rattlesnake, vulture, tiger. Obviously, that's kind of the staple. But very powerful creature that, again, can root its way into kind of politics and powerful people, and cause a lot of story-driven madness and chaos. Rotnag I created. I like stuff that kind of decays, rots, slimes, maggots, worms, stuff like that. Just something I enjoy, to have something that's kind of nasty and kind of invoke that. Skunk Ape, that one's fun too. Southeastern states, so it's where I'm kind of living here, so I really enjoyed that one as well. And I wanted kind of a jovial one, so here is the this Japanese sea spirit, and if you get him drunk, he will kind of enlighten you with his cosmic wisdom. He's a peaceful creature, and a lot of fun writing that one up too. Skinwalker, Spawn of Yig, Star Spawn of Cthulhu, of course, again, well known. The Hidden Ones, I wanted something kind of alien-like, that are very rarely seen, very difficult to see, that leave little hints of their actual existence. Again, you can have a great adventure, I think, with them. Terrors from Beyond, awesome art there. Toro Diabolico, this is one of the first creatures I wrote, and this is a huge flaming bull. And again, I didn't want something that just destroyed stuff. I wanted something that was actually demonic, that had a purpose, that had a drive, that was worshipped, that relishes in it's almost like a dragon where it loves gold and stuff, but it just is something that you can really invoke, and it might be just a unique creature to itself, but something that's very powerful and isn't just a murderous monster. So I always dealt with two sides of that. Monster that's just going to eat your face, and something that's got some depth to it. Of course, werewolf, that's a great stamp. And I love this vampire art. Look at that. Just great. Vampire powers there. And then we go into the adventures. So Pete Spawn, he wrote this adventure. I did all the kind of stats for it. Great adventure, I think, for a funnel, 0 level funnel, obviously. 18 to 21 characters. It's got a lot of great stuff going for it. And it's called Death Crawls West. We tried to figure out a name, and I definitely played on the dungeon crawl aspect of that name. So Death Crawls West. And just a great adventure, I think, with a lot of, traveling, different encounters, a lot of them kind of spooky, kind of weird, and encountering different types of the character classes that then the funnel characters might become. Just fantastic. So there's that. And then there is, I love that piece of art there. That one, of course, is great. Tons of art. I mean, Dave just went nuts with it. Lost Souls Canyon is a first level adventure for 6 to 8 PCs. It's a little shorter in, obviously, size there, but great art. Again, you know, there's 2 adventures in this book. And of course, with this size, you'd think, you know, maybe they didn't have to do that. There's also 5 adventures that were part of the Kickstarter that are been released on PDF, and those are hopefully go to print sometime soon. The 5th one's about to be released as of this video, but hopefully, of course, those will be available on Ttrpg as well. And so, well, this adventure is quite meaty now that I go through it again. And then you have this huge section on Appendix. So you've got all these different items, gear, weapons. Look at all these different weapons, different type of guns. And of course, you know, the balance of those is always going to be difficult when it comes to guns. And then here's some more rooms for advanced firearms. For those people that they know about the Wild West guns, you're going to run this game with them, and they're going to say, that's not how that gun worked. So, you know, David did a lot of research, and hopefully this will, you know, quell some of those issues that some of those people may have. It may not be 100%. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert about it. But hopefully they'll enjoy this more in-depth look at pistols, firearms, Captain Ball revolvers, cartridge pistols, everything like that, artillery, exotic firearms, and the like. And then you're going to have this huge section here on all the different firearms. As you can see, machine guns, artillery, and then you have all your tables here in the back. A critical hit charts for firearms, piercing weapons, slashing and wrestling. So everybody's going to get their mix of different type of attacks. Then you're going to have your character sheets, some great pictures here of everyone that's kind of played it. A lot of people that have played it at cons. You can see them and David running the game, as well as, of course, the OGL, and then the index here, along with the tables. So there it is. You've got here in the back, like I said in the other video, there's that. So I know this has been a long video, and I didn't tackle much of the game. But hopefully you've got some insight into what a lot of the imagination and the people that were behind the scenes helping David to make it such a huge, fun game. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. Again, I'll have it linked down in the description, everything that's pretty much from the other video, if you want to pick up the PDF or get involved in the Pledge Manager for any type of like late pledges. There it is, Weird Frontiers. Yeah, a lot of fun, and who knows what the future is going to be holding for this game, and what other products can be put out. There's some third-party products that have been made for it, and I'll be looking at those too in the future. So check out Weird Frontiers, and I hope that you can enjoy all the work that's gone into it. So thanks a lot.